guys, it's Izzy and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to talk about how coronavirus makes my disability even more difficult. Now obviously the whole pandemic has made everyone's lives more tricky and it's pretty brutal. But I think there are quite a lot of things where disabilities have kind of been forgotten about, or it's made things that I'd previously learned more difficult and I've had to kind of learn how to do new things. So I thought this video would be an interesting thing to do for anybody able-bodied, just to kind of highlight things that are more tricky since we went into lockdown and everything like that. Obviously, as this video is talking about the pandemic, I did just want to say please be careful and safe, wear your masks. It's just been announced today. Well, leaked as I'm filming this. Apparently we're going into lockdown part 2, really fun. But yeah, please be safe, wear your masks, you know, social distance, all of that kind of thing. And yeah, let's get on with the video. So the first one is actually about masks. Now, as I do have a physical disability, I am exempt from wearing masks. However, I still choose to wear one just because I feel like as I can, I may as well. But yeah, at first I couldn't actually wear my mask myself, so I had to rely on other people to put one on for me. Which was really annoying. I like to be as independent as possible. Then my school actually added that we should wear masks whenever we're in public spaces like the corridors and things like that. We're allowed to take them off in classrooms, but whilst we're walking around the building we do have to wear a mask. So that is when I decided that I should probably learn how to put one on myself. I actually got sent some really pretty masks from a brand called Style Cheat. They're so pretty, you should go and check them out. But yeah, I basically had to learn how to put a mask on myself. Obviously it's difficult. Some people with disabilities can't wear a mask for a medical reason. People are judgy. And other people really struggle to put one on or have to learn how to do it. So that was something that I had to do just to make sure that I was keeping myself and those around me as safe as possible. I wanted to make sure that I wore a mask and yeah, could be as safe as that as possible. If you guys can, please try and get reusable face masks. They can actually be quite affordable from some places. I know the ones I've got are quite pricey, but they are quite affordable from some places, and it basically just means that you're saving the planet a little bit rather than throwing away the disposable masks after every use. Okay, so the next one is one that I had noticed with my school's one-way system, and when I was out with my mum the other day, we were at like a service station and she pointed it out as well, and that is that disabled access, such as like ramps or even lifts, aren't included in a building's one-way system. So a lot of buildings have one-way systems where you go in one way, out the other, pretty self-explanatory, and a lot of the times to use the lift or like a ramp you actually have to break the one-way system. So for instance, at school I really don't use our one-way system because with all the lifts and everything you can't. You have to go the wrong way to go and get in the lift, and that's just how it is. This is because obviously the one-way systems are built off of other exits and other staircases, which as someone with a disability you can't always use them. It would be really nice for the disabled access points to be included in the one-way systems, but they are not. And I completely understand why, like a one-way system is tricky to create. However, sometimes it would just be nice so that I know I'm being safe and being as careful as possible, as well as all the other able-bodied people. So the next one is something that I've really tried to cut down on doing, and that is opening things with my mouth. Now it's made me realise how unhygienic this probably was before, but whilst we're trying to be as careful and as cleanly as possible, I have stopped opening things with my mouth, especially things that have obviously been in a public place. Obviously just to try and stop the spread of the virus. I never realised how much I relied on opening things with my mouth, even just to like a little sachet of ketchup, and now I'm having to rely on other people such as my friends to help me when it comes to opening my ketchup. And yeah, it's basically just a little bit more challenging and means I have to rely on other people a little bit more, which I'm not a fan of, but I would rather do that than like get the virus and die. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. So when it comes to antibacterial hand gel, I would always antibacterial the ends of my arms. I kind of see them as hands. However, they are not. The skin on the end of my arms is just the same as anyone else's skin on their arms, and it's not as tough as the skin on your hands. This basically means that antibac wrecks my skin. It actually has brought me out a literal eczema on my arms. Now I know this is the case with other people that use antibac all the time, but yeah, using your arms as hands It's not the same when it comes to anti-bac. I anti-bac and obviously will wipe my gym equipment down when I go to the gym, as they are currently, as I'm filming this, currently open in the UK. So this is me editing this video. Later that same day as I filmed this video, we actually went into another lockdown, or they announced another lockdown for a month. So we're in lockdown to December now. Isn't that absolutely fab? Thank you, Boris. And the gyms are shut. Woo! So excited. So yeah, thank you so much, Boris. It really means a lot. Thank you. So I always obviously wipe all my gym equipment down, and I literally come back from the gym with like eczema all over my arms because it ruins my skin, dries it out so much, it makes it so sore. But yeah, I guess it just highlights that your arms are not as tough as your hands. So the last point I have is about school. This is a lot of a longer one. If you'd like me to do a whole video on what it's like going to school during the pandemic, then let me know, because I am going into school, and that is that the support from teachers is a lot different and more difficult, really. So obviously through the whole of lockdown I didn't get much support from my teaching assistants when it comes to scribing and things like that, which is what I would normally get in classes. I obviously couldn't do that virtually because they're not at home with me. So that was something that was a bit more tricky. I had to adapt, so I did a lot of my schoolwork actually on my laptop, which I've not really done before, basically just because I found it the easiest way to get all my words onto the paper and write down everything that I needed to. So that was how I did it when we were at full lockdown and we weren't allowed to leave the house. In the UK we're currently allowed to go into schools, and you are in a bubble with your year group, so I'm allowed close to my friends. However, you still have to remain 2 meters away from staff members to try and not pass it between students to staff. But they're fine with you passing it through students. Yeah, Boris's rules don't make sense. So that does mean I have to keep 2 meters away from my learning support assistants. This is an absolute pain because I can't quite see what they're writing down, they can't quite hear me, and it's a nightmare. It's even more difficult when scribing exams, as we learned the other day. If I'm actually scribing an exam with someone where we're both going to be talking, I do actually have to do it with a mask on, which is just annoying to have to wear a mask during an exam. But yeah, the 2 meter rule with my LSAs has definitely been the most tricky one, because I just find that they're really far away from me and we can't work most effectively because of how far away they are from me. Yeah, it's just a bit annoying, really. I think obviously these are areas which haven't necessarily been considered in the plans of going back to school. Obviously the government have tried to like create all these plans and everything and work out what to do, and I think when it comes to these rules, it's great saying that staff should be 2 meters away from pupils. However, there should be exceptions of certain students. Obviously I don't really require that much physical support, but if I did, I would require staff members to be within 2 meters of me. Sorry, my phone's going off, which obviously according to Boris is not allowed. And yeah, I feel like that's basically school. It is working, however it is more difficult, and yeah, you kind of have to make it up as you go along because there's not necessarily a rule book for every situation. That is basically how the pandemic and how coronavirus has affected me because of my disability. If any of you guys are struggling or anything like that, then do leave me comments down below. I'll try and help you where I can. Obviously I know me saying, oh, my life's more difficult now, is nothing compared to some people. Obviously some people have been so ill with the virus and you may have lost family members or something like that, so I know I'm not the worst person in this situation. However, I thought it'd be interesting to highlight how it's affected me without me even getting it. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to give it a like, comment, and also please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!